Beautiful morning it is on the bumper breakfast today. It's a Thursday morning, the 21st of April 2022. How are you all doing? Hope you woke up on the right side of your minds today and hope you're ready for the day's work. About 9 days to go in the month of April. What it simply means is the month of April is running quickly to an end. Nomination forms are being sold. PDP has ended talking politics. And when it comes to talking governance, ASU is still on strike. When it comes to foreign stories, Ukraine, Russia are still at war. And of course, France is about to begin the electioneering process, the very last stage of the electioneering process. Would Macron continue? Will Le Pen jump on board? Whatever it is, the world is definitely waiting for the outcome of the debate and, of course, the outcome of the result. But whatever it is, the whole world is also watching our dearest country, Nigeria, because insecurity seems to remain the same. We're still talking about a situation where every single thing seems to almost be at a standstill. Schools will be resuming. Parents are complaining of no money. Fuel subsidy approval has been gotten. ASU is still on strike. Benin Expressway is still barricaded. And so many things demanding for the attention of the government at the same time. It's still the month of April. We do not know what exactly will happen tomorrow or the next. But in the midst of it, you have to take charge of your life and you have to take charge of your family and make sure that you have a focus for a time like this. Because whether we like it or not, Nigeria is at the brink of some serious chaos. And you and I will be the ones to contribute to putting it back together and making sure it doesn't slip into chaos, but it rather achieves the peace that every one of us, so much desire. My name is Tomisi, and it's always a pleasure being here with you on a beautiful Thursday. You know that I just love the African thingy and the African attire. And so when I come on a Thursday like this and you see me wearing Ankara, I think I deserve a gift of some sort. All right, we're looking straight into the papers this morning because I have quite a number of things to do today. Quite a number of things. People have been begging, talk about politics, and I've been getting your messages. And we have definitely gotten ready to hit the ground running with the APC presidential nomination form at about 100 million naira. Joining the conversation this morning is Mr. Akin Fatuke, who, coincidentally, is celebrating his birthday today. Good morning.
Thank
so
you.
You're an April baby.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm Taurian. Good morning, Nigerians. I wish my country were to be in some other states. When I say some other state of health, some other state of education, some other state of livelihood, so that joys will be able to go around. But here we are. We are same of same. That notwithstanding, Tomisi, I really must thank you very much. And I know joys that come in the morrow will come by way of all Nigerians by the special grace, one of the Almighty God, and by the special desire of you, me, and you and I, and all of us working together can lift our country. Thank you so much.
Let's take a look at the stories in the papers today. Of course, we had reactions and we will be we'll try as much as possible to take some of those reactions as well. The Nation newspaper is where we want to begin from, and it simply talks about Buhari cautions APC against imposition of candidates. You have nomination fees, 2 million for the House of Assembly, House of Rep 10, Senate 20, governorship 50, presidential 100. The schedule of activities, you have the Assembly, governorship 18, Assembly 20, House of Reps 22, Senate 24, presidential 30th to 1st. Inside, the next seats power to the NWC for 90 days. Sale of forms begins tomorrow. Governors are party leaders in state. Adamu insists while nomination form is 100 million. Group raises check for Tinubu's forms. NWC to decide on zoning, mode of primaries, and you have presidential primary fixed for 30th of May to the 1st of June. Power sector to fail to meet 4,500 megawatt target. How decision on Daria in Yame was taken by the presidency. CJN warns the judges against illegal wealth and flamboyance. Train attack. Kaduna gives family of dead victims 18 million naira. Gunmen abduct 4 family members in Abuja. Of course, I'll take a look at the Nigerian Tribune next. That was the Punch newspaper, the Nation, and I go to the Nigerian Tribune next. We have 100 million APC presidential funds shock Nigerians. And the party slashes cost of forms by 50% for aspirants under the age of 40. NEC transfers its powers to NWC for 90 days. Party may settle for indirect primaries, says Kebbi State Governor. Buhari demands due process and compromises. Taraba explosion, death toll rises to 16. Police confirm 6. 10 feared killed as the Laje fishermen clash with Ibeno natives in Akwa Ibom. And 3 killed. Federal lawmaker, family members escape death in Plateau. El-Rufai approves 18 million naira for 9 bereaved families in Abuja crane train attack. 15 Edo communities, civil society grows barricade beneath Lagos Road over headsman's attack. And Boko Haram perversion of religion, Buhari says, and PDP presidential aspirants insist on primary as a nomination. And this one says, give us 200 billion naira from the 4 trillion fuel subsidy to return to schools, ASU tells federal government. EU and UN toothless bulldogs, alleged war crimes in Ukraine. We move to the Punch newspaper. APC silent on zoning. Nigerians condemn 100 million nomination fee, says it will encourage corruption. It will deter on serious aspirants. The chieftain says governments remain state leaders. Adamu warns factions in the red primary is likely. Don't repeat PDP's mistakes. Buhari position on zoning out soon. Kaduna crash. Late pilot's family laments. NAF begins probe. NECO postpones common entrance exam over low registration. OAU indicts professor accused of robbing private parts of students. 9 fair killed in Akwa Ibom Osun Edo clashes. 131,376 retirees withdraw 32 billion naira quit pension scheme. Power tariff shortfall hits 247 billion naira. Government clears debt December. Imported vehicles, CITN to engage customs. Others over the 15% NAC levy. Right to have lastly the Guardian newspaper, and its banner headline also talks about the opera over the APC nomination form. Opera over APC nomination, presidential nomination form. You have Kuriwa, anybody buying APC nomination form should be arrested and investigated. Kebbi businessman signs 100 million naira check for Tinubu's presidential form. Are you saying there are no people rich enough to buy that form in Nigeria? Austerity measures will worsen hunger poverty in Nigeria. 200 million Hajj get ready to pay more. Senior official tells pilgrims. Scores fed killed in Ilaje Ibeno clash in Akwa Ibom. Buhari ran in Nigeria aground, says Bishop Mogweko. And soldier 20 terrorists die in MNJTF operations. Buhari's Katsina's North Senator leaves APC for the PDP. Kano Commissioner storms Ganduje and quits office. Mr. President, Nigeria is running wild. That's the editorial of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Mr. Fatuke, let's begin with the story. Opera over the APC 100 million presidential nomination form. Well, you heard that yesterday. Let me begin. What was your reaction? First, my director has a video from the NEC meeting yesterday of the APC. You can also roll that, but let's talk about it. What was your reaction? 100 million. A whooping 100 million.
My reaction was simple. Nigeria is a state at a bazaar. And you know how it goes at a bazaar? If you are able to spend 100 naira,
yes,
I would double that or I'll quadruple that. Show of deep pockets while leaving the substance. I just say, leaving the substance in abeyance. When I heard that yesterday, my first reaction was natural.
Okay.
Somebody somewhere, the APC as a party, have clearly come to say that yes, this is not an NGO. This is a place where I have come and I've got to be able to make money for the outfit. Just like football, you're the coach, you're the technical advisor. How valuable is your team? Is it always about winning elections? Is it always about winning matches? Or about some form of sustainability? Albeit, this form of sustainability ends up in private pockets. I personally was miffed. It's their prerogative.
Isn't it preposterous that we're spending 50 million naira to buy a governorship form and we're looking at 100 million to buy a presidential form?
To do what they felt they needed to do. Whether it's the two parties we have, forget about the retinue of other parties that are at the fringes, it's all about money. And in any case, if you are going to be the capo, which exactly is what you will be if the election favors you, what will now happen is that you first of all recoup, and naturally you will recoup your working capital. Finance experts and accountants will understand what I'm saying. You will recoup your working capital immediately before you begin to get accretion into your capital base. Then if you are going to steal the country blind into oblivion, so why don't we first of all begin to task you in there? Now, don't forget, at the last count, the number of persons who have indicated interest to contest under APC is 2 scores plus. And then somebody now then say, wait a minute, this is not the time for us to be able to make money. And there it is.
Make money. I want to dare ask the question, Mr. Fatoke. You're making money for what exactly? I mean, the average Nigerian hears the value 100 million, and the average Nigerian is saying, "Yeah, are you kidding me right now?" It looks as if all these guys have robbed us blind, and then they're using the money to. Are they going to? Because as we speak right now, about 8 people, about 6 of them, I think, or 7, have indicated their interest. You have Shiwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you have the Vice President, you have Rotimi Amechi, you have Chris Ngige. You're looking at Yaya Bello. So I'm just wondering, that's 500 million, that's a quarter of $1 billion naira. If they have this much money in their pockets, why are they not donating this money to fix the educational sector? If what is needed to fix the educational sector is just 200 million.
Because it's not their priority.
200 billion. Are you kidding me right now?
Because it is not their priorities. A social media guy, I don't want to mention names, got up some time ago and then threw a hashtag. And before you knew what was happening, money was coming from everywhere in the same country that you say you don't have money. But in his own case, he did something. Yes, I wanted to try this as a joke. I'm going to give it to some charity. In the case of politicians, that's what I call them. Of course, it's an investment that they know, based on past experiences, doing their MPV, doing their payback, doing their investment analysis, know that they are going to more than recover that investment. If this is not like you are trying to pause it crazy, then you begin to think of some other things. Why and where do you think all the leakages we've been talking about in the economy is coming from? The unaccountability of funding, the project management that we are talking about. And I tell you, to them, it's just like a drop in the mighty ocean of a lot. Repeat, a lot. So the average and the common man will not be saying, oh my God, please don't put God into this. 4.1 trillion has just been approved for subsidy. More
Oh,
than
that's
half,
our next conversation.
more than half of that. More than half of that is to take care of all this that we are seeing.
Okay, but let me ask a question here, Mr. Fatuke. I don't want us to get into that subsidy matter because it's our next topic. The average president in Nigeria, as a matter of fact, President Muhammadu Buhari, as we speak, earns 30 million naira as salary in 1 month,
According to
the Wikipedia and talking
I'm
about
only
Nigeria
trying to
find
pull
a
your
way come.
legs.
Yeah, I know. Apart from the monuments of office and the rest of it, when he came into power, he did say that he was going to be earning just half of the salary with his VP. Okay, half of the salary, let's say 15 million, in addition to the extra XXXX. I had that together, and I'm saying in 4 months, the salary of the president is 120 million naira. APC wants to collect 100 of that for nomination form. So yes, you now have Nigerians, businessmen, and all of them in Nigeria saying, we're buying the nomination form for, I remember President Muhammadu Buhari's form in 2015, I guess was bought by people. He wasn't bought by himself. We're looking at another one. Somebody has already come up, the Kemi businessman has come up now and says he's buying, he has signed a check already for 100 million naira for the form for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the average Nigerian, looks at it and says, where are they getting the money from? I want to share with you some of the messages that we got on the pages of social media. I posted this topic yesterday and I wanted reactions from people. And these were some of the things that they said. The first person did say, I'd like to take the first one first. The first person says, okay, a cartel of thieves to steal, to kill, and destroy. This alone is enough for Nigerians to know that these people are everything associated with the APC are criminals and has nothing to offer the nation. This is coming from Facebook. My director can also put that tweet up there. After paying 100 million and 50 million, the winners will proceed to campaign and spend billions, even borrow. Every dime must be repaid, but how is the question? By stealing and everything fraudulent. People said a seed for bounty harvest. Somebody says, Atoyebi says, just too much. Now, this is one person. This says, if it is in a responsible country, the sources of income of those that paid such a whooping amount should be seriously probed. But in our case, it is seen as mere competition as to who could easily pay. Another person says, public office for sale. And then I asked the question, could it be an opportunity to deter many from buying the form? According to the APC, it is an opportunity to weed out certain people from buying the form. But then, do you think any politician in Nigeria was big enough? After all the people who have, indicated interest are currently occupying positions in the country. So what are we talking about? They can afford it or not?
We are talking about the fact that we are jesters and comedians. The jesters are out there smiling and laughing at ribald jokes being cracked by the comedian. And the comedian is out there with a straight face, not laughing. Of course, he's going to laugh at the end of the day to the banks. So who is fooling who? May I add mine? I would say the Nigerian state can be likened to Ali Baba and the 40 thieves. Ali Baba is a thief. The other 40 are also thieves. The most lucrative business in the whole wide world, I'm saying the whole wide world, not just the Nigerian politics, where you sow nothing, where you add value zero, but get humongous cash flow, got humongous profits, whether landed, whether it's properties all over the place. And I was just going to chuckle when you were turning out the salaries of Mr. President. And, I said, according to who? It has to be salaries and emoluments.
We're just talking about basic.
What my president has expended on his health, tourism alone
The medical tourism that he has engaged
is
in
enough.
7 years.
It's enough to sink 3, 4, 5 states in our federating unit, and that is putting it mildly.
By your
I
calculation.
keep on saying that they are all liars. Politicians are liars. They know that
Are
they
you
are
saying
liars.
there are no good ones amongst them at all?
There will naturally be good ones, but you cannot be straight in a rough jacket, and that is the point now. Situations where you can only be straight if you have a tailor who knows when to start, when to stop, how to cut coat according to size, but where it is free for everybody, you get in there and then you say, hey, is that the way life is? And it's the reason why you find people who are perhaps always criticizing, then when they give them a piece of the pudding, they will come back and say that when you are eating, you don't talk much. My point is, we do not have accountability. We do not have a situation where we punish. I repeat, we punish bad behavior.
After all,
In
the
fact,
people you punish, you also pardon them as well.
rather than punish bad behavior, we reward deviant behavior. We see that, and that's the reason why our national assemblies are being occupied by misfits, rogues, lizards, cockroaches, and crocodiles. That's the reason why our governors, many of them, well, like you said, one needs to be very, very careful. There might be 1 or 2.
Of every what? What's the calculation? What's the percentage here? Are we looking at 1 of every 10?
0.005%.
Okay.
You can do the maths.
By your maths.
Now, these 0.005% will be the ones that my dear friend and brother Charlie Boyle will call the mumus. When you get there, when they toss you right, when they toss you left, they toss you to the center, they begin to say, you are the one that's going to expose us, and they can smoke you out of existence. But that can really stop if you all get up to an accountability. Please, Tomi,
Under the current constitution, under the current system we run,
yeah,
can there ever be accountability?
there should and can be accountability, albeit very, very hard. Because when the head is rotten, the toe will feel a lot of pain. Now, for all these bodies that are moving around, I call on the youths, I call on the women, I call on the market women. There has to be a way to counter this by superior thinking. You could do crowdfunding and begin to now gather than continue to agonize. These people are not ready to leave the stage so soon. You will always remember, and I always say this, a journey of 1,000 miles begin with a step you took yesterday. Let's begin to organize ourselves. Let's begin to put accountability together. After all, we saw it during the NSAS. We can crowdfund, bring yours, bring mine. All the things
And
we are
put the
criticizing
Kobo together.
the government about now, we put all those measures in place and counter. Is that not what happens to Obama? Obama became president of the United States of America perhaps 1 year or 2 years before. He had all the talents within him. And when he went to make that speech for Kerry Walker, I said, hey, look, begin to watch this guy. This is the kind of guy we should all be gunning for. And what happened? People started putting
Funds together.
And that is the only way to counter this. Democracy is a game of numbers. You bring yours, I bring mine. We have like minds, we have good vision, we have good mission, we have good values. And we begin to now say, yeah, it's not our turn now to be talking about presidency. Can we position ourselves to the local government?
Grassroots.
Can we position ourselves to national assembly?
Begin to build up.
Can we begin to position ourselves and begin to what? Build up.
Let's go to the next conversation this morning, Mr. Fatunke. You did mention it earlier. 4 trillion naira has been approved by this government for fuel subsidy. Not their fault in any way. After all, they did remove subsidy, and then some people went on strike, and then there was all of the notes. So let's give it to them. A little here, a little there. But then, ASU says, give us 200 billion of your 4 trillion naira for fuel subsidy, and we'll return to work. Sounds like a fantastic option, if you ask me. Or what do you think? So every Nigerian, it sounds like that.
What I think, like you said, of course, can't be their fault. Politicians, and that's where we started from. We want to go into business. It's a business. Of course, they know that a lot of our mumus will never do. Let's remove the subsidy. You with your mouth, no, never. It's not going to be. And so we remained of same. And then we played into their hands, pure and simple. 4.1 trillion naira, some $8 billion. Even almighty America, China, will never, ever make that kind of expenditure on petrol. Here we are, we submitted to them because no, never. When we should all be sitting around the cancer patient and be talking truth to ourselves. It's bad. Yes, it's bad. But what do we do about it? This cancer patient, should we ask him or her to go back and go and take care of his household? Okay? Some people will say, yeah, let's take him or her to a spiritual center. Continue wasting of time, which exactly is the Nigerian situation.
So Nigerians have refused to accept that subsidy needs to go, and so has continued to enable. Is that what you're saying?
You're doing that to a rogue government, rogue politicians. We played into their hands. It's like somebody just enter your house and say, look, if you make a noise, I'm going to shoot you. Okay, it's good for you to just go prostrate. But for you to go prostrate and say, oh, I have an AK-47 very near me and all that, and all that kind of stuff. Oh, you have AK-47? I'm the armed robber to the teeth. That's what Nigeria has done. So whether it's the Labour Congress, whether it is you and I, and that are chopping our future, and unfortunately, we are only chopping a minuscule out of this money, the rest is going to go into the
so basically
pockets
for 23 years, we Nigerians have continued to clamor for a subsidy that is robbing us blind of our
in the first place
infrastructure, progress.
Let's look at numbers. How much do we consume? Can anybody give us that number? Why are we consuming what we are consuming? What about all the smuggling? What about all the leakages? What is going on?
What about the ones that are taken to Togo?
They've stolen us.
Republic of Benin.
They've stolen us blind. Then they come back and say, "Oh, sorry, whatever." I don't go agree. I don't go agree. We all need to sit around the table and talk truths to ourselves. I know a couple of people are saying, "Well, they are chopping their own, so let me chop my own." You chop your own and you forget your future. You forget, like ASU is saying. It sounds to common sense. What ASU is doing to compute that out of these monies, more than what they are asking for is going to go into private pockets anyway. So what kind of priority do you give to a set of people who will leave the educational sector comatose, who will go and buy funds for 100 million, for 40 million? The other party is saying 40 million. I hope they too will jack their own.
No, don't worry. They said 40 million for just the nomination fund. Don't forget that it's indication of interest. There are 2 forms.
I hear. We are going to see. What kind of priorities do you give to a set of people that under our kuru eyes, COVID-19 came, we went flat down, our medical doctors, our nurses are voting with their legs. Every aspect of our economy is either going on strike or is in stark darkness. They see it. They know we see it. So the onus is on us. So I change it round from what Charlie Boy said, our mumu don't do. Let us rise, not continue to antagonize. Let's organize and let's put our thinking cap. There are capable Nigerians who will be able to do by far better than what we are being served today. 4 trillion naira, we played into the politicians' hands. They knew that was going to happen.
But if the new person comes and says, I'm removing subsidy, Nigerians, do you see Nigerians not rising again? Are we educated enough to understand that subsidy is still a scam?
I am talking about it. Yes, I agree.
A personal scam that we have allowed.
We must begin to answer the questions akin to a situation where the blind and the lame have been given some raw materials that you call groundnuts. You, the lame, because you can see, continue to fry.
Yes.
Me, the blind, I can't fry, but when I see you whistling, I know the groundnut is not going down your mouth. So trust now becomes an issue. So I know what was produced. Minus the fact that some other persons will now then come and begin to steal, and I get my priorities right, and I get my politics right, and I restructure my mind, and I restructure the polity, and I begin to tell myself the basic truth, and begin to look at the critical issues of population control. I begin to look at the critical issue of educational risorgimento, like the Italians will call it. I begin to look at security itself, the way it should. Try and block all the leakages. Tough task. Catch 1, catch 2, catch 3. Make great examples of them. Get 1, get 2, get 3 that you see are complying. Those are the ones that we should be giving national honors. But in Nigeria, it's the reverse. And then we think we are going to develop. I am afraid we'll continue to be in darkness.
We need to say thank you to Mr. Akefatuke for joining us this morning on the Bumper Breakfast. It's the first segment of the show. We take a break. We come back. Happy birthday to you, by the way. You owe me that breakfast at some point. I'm going to have to eat it. Even though I'm on air right now, I cannot follow you. I would have followed you.
Yeah, but then that's the point. You can't follow me for breakfast. It's lunch. There is dinner. There is sari. You know there is sari too.
There's sari too. Oh, thank you so much for coming. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're looking at something totally off politics. The idea of nudity has become the trend across Nigeria. The question is it fashion or simply folly? We'll bring our guest up in the next couple of minutes and we get the conversation going. Don't go away.
All my life I've been searching for love, praying that I find my true love. Days have gone, months have gone, but no one to call my true love. I've sacrificed my time, discipline and so courageous, for true love is what I got. Is what I want. Oh, tonight I'll find my love. I need more time to find my love. Then she hold me tight and she would never let go. She kissed my lips. She would never let go. She rolled my eyes and she said, "You are my love, oh, my dreams have come to pass.